been benched, right? We talked about Anthony Richardson's chances to make the playoffs. Pretty much zero, right? I think everybody's kind of in agreement, right, that Joe Flacco has been benched, kind of yet again, honestly, right? Yes, Anthony Richardson did come back from injury, and then he got benched, and Joe Flacco has been benched. And when we look at Joe Flacco, guys, after this recent benching, him being 39 years old, 40 years old in January, so he'll finish the season at 39. Is he done in the NFL? Is Joe Flacco finally going to hang up the cleats and walk away from the NFL game? So if we look at Joe Flacco back in 2023, when he had his great run for the Cleveland Browns, right? He was on the couch. Nobody wanted him in 2023. 32 teams passed on him. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Nobody wanted Joe Flacco in the 2023 NFL season. Finally, the last month of the season hit. The Cleveland Browns were on their 4th or 5th quarterback at this particular time. They were injured, right? They were just a floating duck. Yeah, they had a chance to make the playoffs, but really they had no opportunity. They just wanted Joe Flacco to come in there and kind of salvage the season. Joe Flacco said, you know what? Hold my beer. Flack around and find out. He had a monster December. Let's not get that twisted. He had a great December. Yes, he lost his first start, I believe it was against the LA Rams. But then he won 4 in a row, putting the Browns at 11 wins and in the playoffs. And in those wins, he had 311 yards passing. He had 374 yards passing, 368. He said, I got you another 300-yard game, 309-yard game to end week 17. He played so well, won 4 games in a row, won 4 and 5 as a starter. He didn't have to play week 18. He sat down. He relaxed. Ooh, this is nice. Back to the old days. Joe Flacco is back, baby. Insert the playoffs. Insert the boat race from the Houston Texans. He did throw for 307 yards, but let's just be honest, that was all in mop-up duty. That game was over after the 3rd series. It is what it is. Offseason came. Joe Flacco's like, I want to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I know I can do it. Okay. Everybody passed on him. Like, thanks, but no thanks, Joe. Colts ultimately signed him, going to become a mentor toward Anthony Richardson, kind of be that emergency gap fill side just in case Anthony does go down, because he was coming off that injury, right? Last season, shoulder injury. Gardner Minshew was in there, whatever, right? Joe Flacco's right thinking, man, you know what? I can probably start. In 5 games this season, Joe Flacco has led one comeback versus the Pittsburgh Steelers back in week 4. Then he started the next week, dropped to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then he led the victory over the Tennessee Titans, but then he's lost to the Falcons and the Bills. Joe Flacco is not doing any good. Joe Flacco turns 40 in January. And the truth is that Joe Flacco was retired from the NFL most of 2023, and nobody wanted him. He was the 5th choice for the Cleveland Browns. Guys, Joe Flacco is done. Whether you want to admit it or not, Father Time is undefeated. Joe Flacco had that little spark that the Colts wanted, right, versus the Steelers. Then they lost to the Jaguars. Yes, I know it's a division game, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But you lost to the Jaguars. And then you beat the Tennessee Titans. Cool. Beat the Titans. But then you lose to the Vikings and the Bills. A Vikings game you probably should have won. But hey, we digress. So guys, let me ask that question. Is Joe Flacco done in the NFL? Yeah. Unfortunately, he is done. Truth be told, he will not put on another NFL uniform. And I mean, like, me being 37, Joe being 39, I'm trying to think of myself like, man, 40's old? Like, yeah, 40's old. 40 is old in the NFL. So, unfortunately, Joe Flacco is done.